Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Andrea and I am a licensed esthetician in Michigan. I've been trying to find ways to become a little more creative because I really miss doing makeup, especially on my own face, creating different looks that use fun colors and trying new products out because I'm really not wearing a lot of makeup at home. I've recently decided that I want to start creating more videos in an effort to kind of teach you guys, show you a little bit inside my mind and my brain when I'm creating different looks, show you how I test out new products, that sort of thing. I'm hoping that this will be informative. I'm hoping that you'll learn something. If you are curious about any specific products or techniques or anything, always feel free to send me a message on Instagram or an email. Even comment on this video and let me know what you want to see. This video today, this look is actually inspired by a previous video that I posted where I shared my first impression of the NARS Extreme Effects eyeshadow palette. I used some of the more neutral, kind of muted tones, but I had somebody in that video wondering if I could do a similar type of video, but using some of the more fun, bold colors. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. This is definitely gonna be more of a bold look, which I know we might not be wearing right now, but hey, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with these videos. I'm trying to be more creative and try looks that we're obviously not wearing that often right now. I'm also gonna be trying out some other products, and I'm also gonna be showing you how to do soap brows if you're curious about soap brows and you've never seen how to do those. So stay tuned. I think this is gonna be a fun video, and if you have any ideas or recommendations for what you want to see me create in the future, then be sure to let me know down below so that I can make sure that I add those to my list. So let's do some makeup. We're gonna start how I start every bold look. Whenever I wear a full face of makeup, I should say, I always start with a little bit of Welletta Skin Food, the original formula, which is pretty thick, but I love it because it really helps. You do have to warm this one up in the fingers. I like to put it on the areas where I need a little extra moisture, where I want things to go on seamlessly. I just press it into the skin, and I find that it helps my foundation blend in so much better. Next, I'm gonna go in with my foundation. This is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation with sunscreen, broad spectrum SPF 50. I really like this, but I got a shade that's a little bit too dark. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna mix it with my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion. You guys know how much I love this stuff, but it's seriously perfect for when your foundation is a little bit too dark. It'll kind of lighten up the foundation a little bit, and it'll help sheer it out a little bit so that it's just easier to work with and match. I'd say it's a pretty good match now that I mixed. So I'm just gonna dot that all over the face. And then using a flat top. This is actually the brush that goes with the IT Cosmetics CC. I'm gonna blend it in. I'm not pushing hard into the skin, but you'll notice I am going in downward motions on the bottom half of my face. And that is because I have peach fuzz on my face. And I want to make sure that I'm not exaggerating it. So by going downwards, I'm going with the way that the hair lays, and I'm not going to accentuate any of those little baby hairs. Now, this is personal preference, but I am not a super full coverage makeup lover. I really like my skin to still shine through the makeup. I might contour more, add more blush, or go crazier on the highlight, but when it comes to foundation, I find that if I don't do a full coverage foundation, it helps me feel like my makeup's not too heavy. Again, personal preference. I love my skin looking like skin. I don't mind a acne scar popping through. I don't know, that's just me. Okay. So now that that is nice and blended in, I have a nice, I'd say medium coverage. Like most of my redness is covered. It's just kind of like a few spots here and there, some scarring down here. Okay, so we're actually gonna let that foundation sit and we're gonna move on to the eyes. We're gonna start with the eyebrows. What I have here, which I'll link every product I use below. This is the Pears transparent soap is apparently what it's called. I like to keep it in a little travel case like this, and then I use a disposable spoolie, but I just reuse the same one. This is the Pixi Glow Mist setting spray, which I'll use later on when I'm done with my complexion, but I'm just gonna do a slight spray or two on the soap, and then you just wanna get it a little wet. Move this over the soap and comb through my brows. Now you can go as crazy as you want with soap brows. Some people have really long brow hairs and they really like to bring them up to make the brow look really full. As you can see, I'm just kind of like working it through. If you're somebody who has really long brow hairs that really like to go in all sorts of directions, or you like them to like go to a certain way and you have an issue with them really staying put, then this might be a really good option for you. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that you get a soap that is transparent or clear, because that means that it's glycerin based, and then it won't show up as like chalky and white. It'll be clear. I'm gonna actually come back to the brows when I'm done with the rest of my eyes. I'm gonna let those sit, let them dry, and then we'll come back. So next we're gonna go in with this is a newer to me product. It's the Pro Filter Fenty Beauty Amplifying Eye Primer. So I'm not usually such a big eye primer person. I'm so loyal to my MAC paint pot and soft ochre, but when the opportunity presents itself for me to try out a product, I'm gonna do it. I applied that all over and I'm just gonna press it in from lash line to brow bone. To set it, I'm gonna go in with the shade Role Play, which is just the matte medium brown tone with a flat shader brush. And I'm just going to pop that all over. Now, if you're somebody who has a lighter complexion than me, you might want to use a different shade from your collection that is a little bit lighter, but this one is going to work just fine for me because it's only slightly darker than my skin tone. So now we have a really good base to get started. Let's see, I was thinking about what I wanted to do with this palette. I really do like these shades. We're gonna start by taking the shade Take Control, which is a matte, like berry tone, raspberry color. And we're gonna start by putting that through the crease. These are so pigmented, so honestly, I probably didn't need that much product. But we're just gonna blend that into the crease, which you'll notice it's so much easier to do because we have that base color down already. If we didn't have that color down, it would be much harder. Now, I love a brush like this that has a flat edge for blending out the edges when things get a little intense. So I like to go in with that. Next, we're gonna start building up the outside. So I'm gonna use a fine little fluffy pencil type brush so that I can put the color exactly where I want it. And we're gonna use the shade Private Eye, which is a deep plum color. And I'm gonna take a little bit of that and just concentrate it on the outside. Like that. We're gonna do the same thing side, just in the outer corner on the lid. But then I'm gonna go in. Blend it out a little bit. I think I'm gonna do a halo eye. So I'm gonna take the same color, Private Eye, going in with the same brush. I'm gonna gently start applying this to the inner corner, being sure to keep it just on the lid, just like that. Okay, if it's not perfectly blended right now, we're just trying to put the color only in the areas where we want it. You can see. Now by laying down that transition shade, it makes it a lot easier for us to keep the color where we want it. And we're gonna take the same blending brush and just gently blend it in to the lid. Just like that. So it's kind of helping us to create that dimension that's making the eyes look really big. I really want to put the bright red, this bright red in the center of my lid all the way. I mean, could there be a better name? We're going all the way here. What I'm actually gonna do is use this glow mist. I've never used it for this purpose, but we're gonna see what happens. And we're gonna spray our brush, a flat shader brush, and we're just gonna gently dip it into this bright red. And we're gonna apply that right in the center where there was no color. Just like that. I know you're probably thinking this looks crazy, but we're gonna make it work. The biggest thing with red eye looks is you want to make sure that you're putting a good barrier between the red eyeshadow and your eyes. So you want to make sure that we're using liner, we're using a lot of mascara with some good black tones that will kind of separate the two so that it doesn't look like you have allergy eyes or you don't look dead, that sort of thing. Plus we're going to keep the bottom really cool toned. We're probably just going to use that purple and maybe even a little bit of the black, and that's really going to help the eye look not become too red. After we apply the red there, I'm gently, ever so slightly, going to blend all the seams together. Again, I'm taking that flat brush and just blending out edges so that everything looks nice and seamless. I think that's gonna be good for the eyeshadow on the top. We might add like a little bit of a inner highlight or something in a little bit, but right now we're gonna go in with the L'Oreal Le Liner Signature eyeliner, and I'm just gonna tight line. So that means putting the eyeliner, it always makes me tear up, that's so normal. But I'm putting the eyeliner on the inside, not on the lid, on the exterior of the eye. I'm putting it on underneath where my lashes are connected, and that's just gonna make, again, create that barrier. Now that we're done with that, we're going to finish up the rest of the face and then come back and finish the eyes. To do that, I'm gonna start with my Juvia's Place concealer in 20. So I'm just gonna dot. It's so pigmented. So I'm just dotting a little bit. In the places that I want to brighten. I'm gonna use my brush to blend out everywhere except under my eyes. I like to do under my eyes with my ring finger, at least to get started, to kind of place it where I want it. And then I'm just gonna kind of tap that out really gently. Again, I always like to finish with my finger. Now I'm gonna go in with my number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in light medium. Tap that where I put the concealer to help with shine and staying power. We're gonna use the Physicians Formula. These are the butter line, and then the butter bronzer palette. I'm gonna contour first with this butter bronzer, and then I think I'm gonna add, kind of bronze up a little bit more with this one because it has a little bit more of a sheen to it. So I'm just gonna tap my brush. I forgot how good these smell. I also forgot how easy these are to blend. So good. And then a little bit down here. So that was like a perfect color for me in the winter. I think in the summer that would be far too pale. Now I'm gonna actually use a little bit of a fluffier brush. So I'm gonna go in with the medium shade, which is Sunset Bronzer, but I'm gonna go in with that medium tone just to kind of give me a little bit more of a glow. So this is more of a actual bronze, a traditional bronze. If you ever do that and you are like, well, I went a little too crazy on the bronzer, but I feel like I went a little too crazy on the forehead. So I'm just gonna go back in with my setting powder. Or you can even honestly just flip your brush over from what you just were using and just kind of there we go. Buff it out a little bit. She bronzed. Okay, now we're gonna go back into the Glow Face palette and we're gonna use the Beachy Peach blush. This is just a nice little peachy blush. Ooh, gosh, it smells so freaking good. I feel like it feels like it smells good because it's like very nostalgic. It smells like the beach. I don't know. Tanning lotion. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, lastly, I'm actually gonna use my finger for this. This is the Tropical Sands highlighter, which is more of like a champagne. Woohoo! I'm actually gonna put some of that on the back of my hand because I feel like I went a little crazy. And we're just gonna tap that on. Now I'm interested to see if this, because the formula feels a little bit different than the traditional butter highlighters, I'm interested to see what the wearing power on this is because the butter highlighters are some of the most long wearing highlighters I have ever tried. But they're more a little bit creamier, they're a little bit more mousse-like. So I'm curious to see how this lasts. Blend that out. What do we think? I think that looks really pretty. Okay. As usual, I like to take the brush, usually that I use for like powder or honestly even bronzer. Wipe it off. And with no product at all, just kind of blend stuff. Okay. I'm really happy with how both of these went. They say they're limited edition, so I'm not sure if they're still available. If they are, I will link them below. Let's actually, before we do the rest of the eyes, let's finish up brows. So today I'm gonna use the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow in the shade Deep. And I'm just gonna apply a little bit so that my brows match the eye look. And by that I mean the intensity of my brows. I like to do a brow based on what I'm wearing. So because I'm wearing a full face and a little more makeup, I want my brow to be a little bit more full. All right, let's finish the eyes. Using the same fluffy pencil brush, I'm actually gonna go in with the Private Eye Deep Plum color. And I'm going to, starting on the outside and blending it inwards. We're just gonna smoke out that bottom lash line a little bit. I love using purples under the lash line for brown eyes. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the lightest shade, which is Endowed, and I'm gonna use this as my inner corner highlight. I'm gonna shake up my Glow Mist from Pixie, and I'm gonna give myself a nice spritz. We're gonna let it dry. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of that same L'Oreal eyeliner to the bottom waterline to kind of, again, give us that definition and barrier because of the red tones. And then I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna add my mascara. All right, so here's the finished look. I'm not gonna put any lip products on because I'm actually about to go run an errand that I need a mask for, and I don't want to put any lip products on. You don't have to put a lipstick on just because you did a full face of makeup. I know that might seem crazy in this whole YouTube beauty space, but you can do whatever you want. And I personally am not gonna put a lip product on because I'm about to go put my favorite chapstick on, which is in my purse before I leave. So this is the finished look. This is obviously the more extreme of the two looks that I made using the NARS Extreme Effects eyeshadow palette. I will link the first one I did, which was more of a wearable neutral one, but I just wanted to show you that bold colors like a bright red eyeshadow don't have to be so scary. Obviously, you wear what you feel comfortable in, but please, please experiment. Try colors that you think won't work on you because you might be surprised. When I first looked at this bright red shimmery shade, I was like, that's interesting. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's a pretty blend of purples and reds, and if I were doing something for the holidays, I think it would be a really pretty way to incorporate that kind of red holiday color into my look. This would pair beautifully with a red lipstick, but again, not wearing any lipstick today. So I'm just gonna pair it with my naturally pigmented lips. If you have any requests for specific palettes to create looks with, or if you have specific tones, like you want to see a green eyeshadow look or a blue eyeshadow look, I don't know, whatever you want. I know that I had somebody request a white eyeshadow look, which is quite the throwback, but I think it would be super fun. So I definitely have that on my to-do list, but please comment below. Let me know what you want to see next. If there's specific products you want to see me try. Again, any techniques, I'm happy to do it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.